Next, I have the pleasure of introducing our first class herald, Andrew Hartnett. Hailing from Koboskel, New York, Andrew is excited to be speaking to a crowd of this size, as his entire hometown has a smaller population than both the undergraduate population of Princeton and than the amount of people at Class Day today. At Princeton, Andrew majored in the Woodrow Wilson School and earned certificates in computer science and environmental studies. Outside of class, Andrew is heavily involved in the Triangle Club, for which he writes and drums. Next year, Andrew plans to move to Washington, D.C., and partake in a High Meadows Fellowship at the Wilderness Society. Andrew, on behalf of the great class of 2018, we know that you will continue to brighten each community you enter with your humor, kindness, and sharp sense of wit. Thank you, and please join me in welcoming my friend, Andrew Hartnett, to the stage. Woo!
Hi. So, usually when I'm talking to a large group of people in front of Nassau Hall, it's as an Orange Key tour guide. So I'm going to start this speech the only way I know how. Hi everyone, welcome to Princeton. My name is Andrew. I'm a senior originally from upstate New York. I'm in the Woodrow Wilson School of Public and International Affairs. Now, much like walking backwards on a tour, I really don't know where I'm going with this speech, so please let me know if I'm going to run into anything. A campus tour is like a class day speech in the sense that my job is to somehow generalize the Princeton experience. Of course, this is impossible because everyone's experience of Princeton is different. At least here, my job is easier because I don't have to find a way to seamlessly incorporate Princeton's student-to-faculty ratio, which of course is 5-to-1, the lowest in the Ivy League. The best I can do is talk about what I remember and hope that it's a little bit true for you, or at least reminds you of something that's true for you. For me, what I think I'll most remember from our 4 years at Princeton are the sounds. There's the chimes of the Nassau Hall bell tower at noon, the not-so-subtle zipping of backpacks meant to remind professors that class is over and we weren't really listening anyway. The sweet refrain of Mr. Brightside, performed as it was intended to be by the entire men's rugby team yelling over a tinny laptop speaker 3 floors up. But I think we can all agree that no sound has more marked our time in this grassy New Jersey oasis than the omnipresent clattering of construction equipment. For family and friends from out of town, allow me to fill you in on the truth. This entire campus is a giant construction site masquerading as an institution of higher learning. Just look at our time here. In Firestone, millions of dollars have been spent upgrading one of the greatest libraries in the world into a more comfortable place to watch Netflix. Down by Forbes, they've taken a corner of this art-starved campus and turned it into the nicest Wawa you will ever see. I've read that it's the only Wawa in the world with a skylight, and I think that's pretty cool. There was even time to completely remodel Dillon Gym, something I know because I go to the gym regularly and definitely not just a story I read on the university homepage. Construction sites at Princeton always have little signs next to them apologizing for the inconvenience. I don't know who writes these signs, but I don't think they mean it. Saying I'm sorry for the inconvenience is just one of those comforting lies we tell, like, oh, I'm totally going to come to your show this weekend. Or substance-free housing. But construction noise is good. It's a sign that things are getting better, or at least getting the name of another donor tacked on. Construction means Princeton is building things. And as anyone who's ever put up posters before Sunday Funday has learned, it's a lot harder to build things than it is to tear them down. Yet Princeton has been building things for a while, and it will continue to do so long after we exit the Fitz-Randolph gates. We'll come back for reunions, and we'll see a shiny new residential college, brand new academic departments, and the place where class of 1986 alum Jeff Bezos will someday replace Blair Arch with a giant Amazon box. But in these last 4 years, Princeton's greatest construction project wasn't a new building or traffic lights that talk to you. It was us. Each Princeton senior is a true underdog story. After spending 4 years attending the top-ranked university in the country and being taught by the greatest academic minds alive, we stuck to our mantra that C's get degrees and Hoagie Haven can count as a meal. But through 4 long years of going to lectures and then trying to make it to lectures, and then honestly not even gonna set an alarm for this 11 a.m. lecture, we managed to learn. We went from not knowing which club was Ivy to knowing that it doesn't matter which club is Ivy because you don't have a pass anyway. We found meaning in life and why it matters. I still remember things I used to say with confidence freshman year that now seem silly. Things like, oh, this app Yik Yak is really taking off. Oh, I'm so excited for our class to have a plaque on Nassau Hall. Hey, want to go to the Sprint football game? Yeah, I'm kidding, I never said that last one. But the biggest lesson that Princeton taught us is that sometimes we're wrong. Sometimes things we may have believed our whole lives can be upended when we encounter a new perspective. Ideas we may have thought were scary can turn out to be good, and things we may have thought were good might turn out to have screened the birth of a nation at the White House. Rough. But college isn't just about the big lessons. We built our experiences here out of hundreds of small moments. Moments like meeting people in line for the Menge B vaccine freshman year and then awkwardly waving to them for the next 4 years. Or the morning after the 2016 presidential election when even the professors hadn't done the readings, but it didn't matter because it felt so nice to just talk. Or this past winter when we looked up and realized all of the trees were out to get us. I'm not saying that this university turned us into perfect people. Princeton helped me become a smarter and more confident person, but if I'm honest, I still need validation more often than my procs. Thank you. What's important is that we remember all the moments that Princeton gave us. We may have to pay full price for Spotify now, but we should never stop learning and never stop growing and never stop building. The world we're entering after Princeton, what we affectionately call the real world, needs a lot of construction. Members of the great class of 2018 will go on to make contributions to science and literature and human development, and the other 95% will, I'm sure, be very good junior analysts at New York-based consulting firms. The real world will be harder than Princeton. In the real world, we have to remember to stop and reflect, even though Polly Griffin won't send reminder emails about course evaluations. In the real world, you have to buy your own fire-resistant twin XL mattress. In the real world, orange doesn't match everything, and honestly, orange doesn't match anything. I'm sorry. The real world is full of people who like to tear things down, but the opportunities that Princeton gave us mean we have the responsibility to build them instead. I don't know all of you, but if those I've met are an accurate sample, then the class of 2018 is ready for that challenge. Now, just like on an Orange Key tour, I want to wrap up with why I chose Princeton. Sure, Princeton's academics are unparalleled, and I've never forgotten that I was only able to come here because of Princeton's generous financial aid. But at the end of the day, Princeton had the one thing I was looking for in a school: a wah-wah with a skylight, and for that, Princeton is truly unmatched. Finally, I'll just say this. Restrooms are available in Frisk Campus Center. If you have any questions, I encourage you to check out the admissions website. Thanks for listening.